This video is for every guy out there who's planning on having a New Year's resolution related to quitting. And I decided to make this video because I think most people fail any resolution they have for the new year. And in this case, particularly, even if you have a plan, even if you tell yourself that you're so serious, you're gonna be different. This year, this time, it's gonna be different. You are very likely to fail. And I want to talk a little bit about why you are very likely to fail. And if you really want to take this thing seriously, what you perhaps should do to do your best next year to actually put an end to your addiction or habit or however you want to call it. So first of all, most resolutions that we set are just fancy ideas and thoughts that we think they are glorified goals. They're just like any goal, but for whatever reason, because it's a new year, we put even more value for that goal. We give that goal more value. We put more hope into that goal as well. And this is actually, in this case of NoFap and porn addiction, it's a very bad thing. Because the more we put hope into our goals related to this thing, the more disappointed we will feel when we fail. And the more disappointment we have, the more negative emotion we have. And porn addiction, compulsive masturbation, it thrives on negative emotion. So it's quite dangerous to put all this hope into this goal, into this New Year's resolution. So what I would suggest you do instead is you search YouTube for the channel of Healthy Gamer and Dr. K on that channel, and you listen to what he has to say. Because he says it very well why you should stop resisting. So if you're trying to quit porn, you shouldn't really actually resist it. And it sounds kind of weird. Why would you not resist? I mean, isn't that all it's about? Well, yes and no, but you have to gradually build that resistance. And usually you build it through doing something else. You build it not by directly resisting those urges, but by building your life on the side. And then you become more resilient towards it as you build your life and you change your life. So I would say, if you are serious about 2025 being the year when you quit, then first of all, make it clear for yourself that if you fail, it doesn't matter. Which kind of makes it sound so underwhelming that you might not feel very excited about it. But you have to understand that for a lot of people, myself included, this is a process. I was never able to succeed going cold turkey. It never worked for me. And I am not weak. I am someone who has ran marathons and who hits the gym regularly, and I wouldn't consider myself weak. And I even made a video on this channel about a strongman, or not a strongman, a power lifter who was addicted, even though he's insanely disciplined and strong. So it's not about strength. It's not about you being weak. It's about us who have a problem with this issue, with this porn addiction. There's something about our personalities and our pasts and our traumas and the way we got into that makes it particularly difficult for us to quit. And it has nothing to do with weakness. So you gotta understand that while you can try to quit cold turkey, when it's January the 1st, the magical January, you can try to quit cold turkey. You can try it, sure. But if you fail, you shouldn't really care. Because if you care, then you feel like shit. And if you feel like shit, then you're gonna watch porn because you feel like shit. And that actually feeds into your identity. And that is an identity of an addict, identity of a loser. And that is something you want to avoid at all costs. So the thing you should do, I think this is the most important point there is to this whole thing. You need to change your life. And it sounds obvious, like, yeah, of course I gotta change my life if I'm gonna quit this addiction. Yeah, but what I mean, I don't want you to just plan and hope and wish and think that, oh yeah, when it's January, I'm gonna resist really hard, or I'm not gonna open the browser and go to the porn site. No, that's not the change. That's not really change. And this is why it's important that when you fail, you don't care, because this process, which might take you years, depends how you deal with it. If you seek help, if you actually join groups, if you have people around you, it might be easier. But if you're alone in isolation, then it might be taking you a long time. The reason why it's a process is that the most important thing here is that you learn about the paths that lead you to the porn every single time. For me, it used to be that I got home from work or school and I lived in a small apartment in the city, and I've always been an introvert, so I never went out very much. My friends were online, so I went to the computer. The computer was my life after work. So I always, without failure, I sat by the computer. And the computer, god damn it, is it easy to open up those tabs. And at that time, I wasn't even using the smartphone to watch porn. It was literally the computer. It was me coming home, sitting by the computer, and then I remember this. After I took a shower, I ate some dinner, I sat by the computer. I was gonna watch some YouTube videos, sure, but then I wanted to do some productive stuff. Art, game development, and every single time I thought about doing something productive, my brain would say, before you do anything demanding, let's watch just a little bit of porn, just a little bit. Every goddamn time, because it was a part of procrastination. It became a mechanism of procrastination and dealing with anxiety and stress. And it ramped up a few years after I noticed this pattern and I wanted to quit. It ramped up even more because I wanted to quit, and I was watching all these I was reading about NoFap and I was getting into it and thinking, oh yeah, there's people who literally just don't watch any porn and they don't even masturbate. Holy crap, how is that possible? I want to do the same. And so I tried to do the same, cold turkey, and I failed. And I failed and I failed and I failed. And that is how I built the identity of an addict. I actually built through those failures because I thought that as a human being, I should be able to quit just like that if I just had enough willpower and resistance. So I built this identity that I'm a fucking loser, but at the same time, I was running, I was always running and going to the gym and everything, and I had friends and stuff, so I had these two competing identities. One was this loser addict who always just failed. Those failures fed that goddamn identity. And then my successes and my physical stuff, hitting the gym and everything, that was feeding the other identity. So if you don't feed the addict's identity with shame and failure and guilt, you have a much better chance, I think, dealing with this problem. And the change, damn, I got off track there, didn't I? The change. What I mean by change is this. The most efficient way to change your life is to do something where you have to commit and something where there is accountability. And the number one thing I would recommend, if you live in a city and that city has martial arts options, you go sign up to whatever martial arts course ASAP. That's the thing you do in January. You don't care about the porn or the fapping. Don't care. Just keep doing it, just like you've always been doing it. It doesn't matter. That's not, focusing on that is not the thing that's going to solve your problem. Focus on things that are entirely different. Things that will actually change your life. Because when you change your life and when you give change a chance, you're not giving change a chance if you always do the same things. If you always sit by the computer or whatever it is that leads you to porn, if you just think about change and you don't do anything, nothing's gonna happen. If you sign up to a martial arts course, you have to go to those training sessions, 2 to 3 times a week or something. And there's people there. You're signing up, you're paying money, and there's other people. That's the accountability. That's the commitment. Because if you have this problem with porn addiction, you most likely are not capable of accountability by yourself on your own. So you need something external like this. That's gonna change things. And, going to places, like in my life changed finally, ultimately, when I met my girlfriend. But you know why I met my girlfriend? Because I went to an event, which I went to every year for the past few years. But going to events gave change a chance. And also, in my case, why finding a girlfriend worked in my case in particular was because I had already processed my porn addiction for 5 years. The first time, or more than 5 years. 6, 7, whatever years I was like actively trying to do something about it and like thinking about it and figuring it out. And I had success before for a few months. There were these times in my life where I was able to quit porn for a few months, but then I always came back. And I really had a hard time figuring out why I came back. Well, in my case, I came back after quitting because I was lonely. But I felt happy. I had friends, I had things to do, so I didn't realize. And I was into these red pill videos on YouTube. I was into these men going their own way videos. And I was thinking, you don't need anyone. Which, you don't need. You're not gonna die if you don't have a girlfriend, of course. But that's not the point. I needed connection, and I tried. When I fell back into the loop of this addiction, when I had success, I fell back because I was drawn in by the fantasy of having love and making love and having connection with a woman. That's what drew me back to wanting to see women. That was usually what drew me back. And then it just became the same rinse and repeat, trying to get rid of my anxiety bullshit. So anyway, I wish you the best of luck if you have plans of making a New Year's resolution that you're gonna do NoFap. If you wanna do NoFap, I'm not the best person. I was never really very good with that. There's Utopian Path, that channel, and another good channel is 24/7 Betterment, and then ultimately a very good channel is the Scandinavian Bob. So those 3 channels are really good channels for the NoFap stuff. And then if you just want to quit porn addiction, you don't really care about the NoFap stuff, go to the Healthy Gamer. Find Dr. K, because god damn it, I wish he was around making those videos when, like 5 years ago or something, because he's an actual psychiatrist and he puts science into the whole thing and it all makes sense. So I think he's like the best currently when it comes to how to really, like, what's the science and the reasons behind your problems and how to solve them. So do those things. Also read the book online called Easy Peasy Method. The Easy Peasy Method is Not perfect, obviously, but if you did follow it to the T, if you did completely perfectly follow it, then it would work. It has a really good point about, once again, the process. When you start reading that book, the book tells you, continue watching porn. Do everything like you've always done. Continue your habit just like before. The only difference is read this book while you watch. And the reason is because the book teaches you to see the porn for what it is. The book teaches you to analyze yourself and sort of look into the mirror and realize that, oh, this is actually not something I really want, even though it feels good as hell. But my biggest problem with that book was that it said that it's not genuine pleasure. In my opinion, it is very much genuine pleasure, but it's short-term pleasure. It's not long-term pleasure. It's not fulfilling because it doesn't give you serotonin. It only gives you the dopamine rush. So you just seek, but you're never satisfied. That's the problem with porn. That's why the pleasure and the fulfillment, it's very short-lived. But yeah, that book is a really good book because it kind of teaches you the basics of how to deal with the process of quitting instead of just going cold turkey, because cold turkey doesn't really work. Yeah. Anyway, subscribe to this channel also if you are interested in this type of content. I try to make content about different topics, and this one in particular, I asked the community in a community post what they want to see, and most people said they want to see me talk again about the topic of porn addiction, so I did. But I talk also about relationships and fitness stuff and stuff like that. The usual self-improvement stuff, because it's fun to me. I'm passionate about those things. So comment below what you think, what's your experience, and I wish you all the best. We can really, truly make the next year the best ever. Just don't make the mistake of putting all your hope into that one thing, and then week 2, week 3, you fail, and your whole year is ruined because you were like, oh yeah, next year I'm gonna go cold turkey and this time I'm gonna make it. And then you don't make it. And what? Your whole year is fucked. So no, don't think of it like that. It's a process. The 2025 is the year during which you process this thing and slowly you erode it and you destroy it within that year of 2025, not in the beginning. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.